hands on those stones. You know, I want to put my hands on them. I want to see if they have a power. You know, I want to see if those stones have any power. I have a feeling they don't. But if they do, I'll know it. You know, if they don't, I'll know that too, and I'll feel happy if they don't. I'll feel scared if they do. I'll tell you right now. Okay, folks. I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody about right now. I might start telling you, Bishop. I'm not sure, but we didn't finish if I did tell you. I'm getting a motorcycle built for me. I'm getting a motorcycle built for me. You know, I tell you, I run into people. Every day I run into a new person, and we have a conversation. Either they tell me something I need to know, or I tell them something they need to know. It's kind of weird. It happens to me every day. Every time I go out of the house now, I run into somebody I've never met in my life, and I leave with a friend. And we exchange something valuable. They either tell me something I need to know, or I tell them something they need to know. And that's the whole purpose of us speaking. You know, this has been happening to me over and over. It's happened to me several times in my life, several periods. But it's happened to me every day now since about the middle of December, since my dear wife died. You know, I run into people at random. So one day, there was one of the guys I met at random. I met him in Grand Bay. And he told me he sells furniture at the flea market. So one day I said, I gotta go see George Brown. I don't know why, but he's, you know, got the voice. The voice said, go to the flea market, see George Brown. Saturday afternoon, go to the flea market, go find George Brown, talk to him, he's got something for you. Okay, I'm gonna go see George Brown. So I go to the flea market, and he had told me that he sells furniture on aisle 4. That's what he told me. I sell furniture at the flea market on aisle 4. You can find me there. When I go there, it's ABCD. There's no aisle 4. Well, I got confused. I said, I don't get this. There's no aisle 4. So I walked into the flea market, and the first vendor I saw, I said, where's the office? He said, it's right down there. He said, you see it, right? See it? Yeah, I see it. Okay. So I go down to the office. How long have I been going on, Bishop? How long have I been going on? Am I in overdrive? I'm about to bring it home. So I say, well, okay. So I go up to the window, and there's a nice lady. She's behind the plexiglass, because everybody's behind the plexiglass now, you know, because everybody thinks COVID's going to kill them. So I leaned down, I said, I'm looking for George Brown. She said, who? George Brown. About that tall. Got a defective wrist because he got screwed up over in Kuwait. She said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, well, he says he sells furniture out here. Antique furniture. Does that ring a bell? George Brown sells antique. I said, maybe it's in his wife's name, and I don't know. Anyway, he sells antique furniture. She says, no, nobody like that here. No George Brown here. She said, but you're welcome to look around. Of course, there's a flea market. They want everybody to look around. So I said, okay, I'll start at A. Take a chance. I'll just walk down row A, and I'll walk down row B, and I'll just go until I see him, because I know I'm going to see him. So I'm starting down row A, and the first thing I pass is a comic book stand. Not the first thing, but the first thing that grabs me is a comic book stand. I don't do comic books, and I did when I was a kid, but I don't do them anymore. I stand there and I look. So there's a young guy. He's sitting over there at the desk. He's actually reading a comic book. I mean, he's basement dwelling kids these days, you know, they still read comic books. So he's over reading the comic book, and I didn't want to go inside the thing, so I leaned over a rack, and I said, hey, can I ask you a question? So he says, sure, what do you need? I said, I need a Superman, about 1962, 1963, the cover has Bizarro on it. You know the guy I'm talking about? He says, sure, I know what you're talking about. You're not going to find it here. I said, I'm not. He said, no, you're talking about a rarity. He said, Bizarro was in 3 different comic books, only three Superman comic books had Bizarro. He looks at me, he goes, how do you know about that? I said, I bought them new. My mother threw them out. They were worthless to her, and I only paid 12 cents for them. Right now, that comic book, I think, on the market, I'm not sure, it probably goes for around 10 grand. It's in pristine shape. There's probably only a couple of dozen of them in existence. You know, he said, why do you want that? I said, I need it as a teaching aid. I want to show people what I told you about up and down, right as left. That's Bizarro. I was in that comic book. People didn't understand Superman. Superman was Jesus Christ. Superman came to save the world. You know, Superman was the force for good. Okay, Bizarro was the anti-Superman, the anti-Christ. His world was all upside down. Bizarro wore a suit that looked like Superman, but Bizarro didn't look like Superman. He was all kind of cubic, white as a ghost. He had no color to him whatsoever. He was washed out. And Bizarro world was this strange planet that was the same size as the Earth. It had the same orbit as the Earth. But somehow or another, we couldn't see Bizarro world. It was out there. And everything on Bizarro world was just the opposite of what we experienced here on our Earth. Just the opposite. That was Satan's world right there. Bizarro was Satan. So the Bizarro, when we looked at Bizarro, the Bizarro depiction right out of the Bible, good versus evil, that was Jesus in the desert, and that was Satan tempting him, wanting to fight him. That's what Bizarro was about. So I wanted that comic book. I didn't get it. So okay, I can't get that comic book. I walked on, went on to aisle two. Aisle two, walking back past a kiosk there, and there's a lady there selling records, old records, vinyl. You remember vinyl? Anybody know vinyl? Vinyl. Yes, sir. Robert was vinyl. Yes, all us old people know about vinyl. I mean, that's like, what we have now? Is CDs? Is CD still it, or is there something else now? It's going out. Yeah, CDs is out. We're all digital now. Yeah. Well, digital's not as good as the CDs. The CDs were better than the old vinyl, and vinyl. We had 8 tracks, we had cassettes, we had all this stuff. Everybody had that stuff. Well, so I stopped and I looked, and she's got a whole bunch. She's got thousands of albums there in racks. Oh, every kind of genre you want to know about music. So I stopped and I'm looking. I don't know why I'm standing there. She looks up at me. She looks like she's about maybe 45 years old. She looks at me. She says, "What can I do for you?" And I just said, "Chris Ray, album called Texas." I don't know why. They just hit me. Chris Ray, album called Texas. She says, "Not here." I said, "Not there?" She said, "No, not here." She said, "You're asking for something rare." I said, "Well, that's twice in one day I've asked for something rare. That's pretty cool. I'm at 1,000 already." I said, "So what's the deal with Chris Ray in Texas?" She said, "Oh, that was a great album, but they didn't sell very many of them. That was his only good-selling album." She says, "Everybody who's got him still got him. They won't let go of him." She said, "To find that album," she says, "you have to go searching, and you may find it if you wait long enough, and you're going to pay dearly for it." I said, "Okay, I got it." She says, "Now, that's all I can tell you." And then she said something very odd. She said, when she said, "If you wait long enough for it," then she says, "Assuming we're all going to be here long enough for you to get that album." She said that, and I went, "Okay, now I think I understand." I said, "You and me need to have a talk." She said, "We do." I said, "We do. Let's have a talk." I said, "Why did you say what you said?" She said, "Well, because things are bad, and they're likely to get worse." And she said, "So, I'm not sure how long we got." I said, "Well, me either." I said, "But who told you that? You don't know that. Who told you that?" She said, "Well, my dad did." I said, "So tell me about your dad." So she started telling me about her father. He's a Vietnam vet, and he's been telling her about the Civil War that's coming. He's been telling her about how times are going to be really tough. She's so tough that there's going to be mass killings. He's telling her, "You got to be prepared." He's like me. This is what I've been telling my daughter. I've been telling my daughter, "I'm here to save your life. I can save your life if you let me. If you don't let me, then I can't. If you don't work with me, if you fight me on this, I can't save your life." I said, "But if you let me, if it comes to that, I can save your life. I may have to sacrifice my own," which I will. I said, "But I won't be very happy about that, because that means you set me up in some way or another without even knowing it. You got to work with me, you got to trust me and believe in me." And one night I was talking to her, I was trying to get her attention, and I said, "I don't think you figured this out yet. I'm just going to tell you straight out. You're not talking to your father. You haven't been talking to your father for weeks. You don't know who you're talking to. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm just gonna tell you to wake the heck up and pay attention. Snap to. I said, we're talking about your life here. And I said, if you care about your life, you'll pay attention and you'll stop looking at me and seeing your dad, because that's not who you're talking to. I hadn't been who you've been talking to for the last couple of weeks. I said, I don't expect you to understand, and I'm not gonna explain it to you. You just gotta understand I'm telling you the truth and recognize it and do what I tell you and stop fighting me. I'm still working on her. You know, she's only 50. Of course she knows, she's too young. So I'm talking to this woman and she's saying the same stuff. She's getting the same thing from her dad. So I said, okay, so I said, so you got your bug out bag packed yet? And she says, we're working on it. She said, we're almost ready. I said, okay. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing right now. I said, you'll see my truck out there. I said, I bought a new pickup because my old pickup's 30 years old, and if I have to leave in that, I said, that's not gonna make it. I said, it's a short bed, so it's not gonna hold all I need to hold. I said, so I got a new pickup. It does what I need. I said, my daughter and I were like you and your dad. I said, and we're packing our stuff up. I said, we're getting the stuff we think we need to survive. Because that's the word, survive. The thriving days is over if this comes down. I said, it's survival. It's not every man for himself, but it's almost. I said, so you gotta know how to survive. And I told my daughter, I said, I want you to go get a plant book. She says, what kind of plant book? I said, the book that tells you if you're out there in nature, what you can eat. I said, I don't know that, but I know there's some books like that, survival. I said, I want you to go find me one that tells me what I can live off of down here in the south. That I can go out there in the woods, or I can go out there in, a sort of upland forest, and I know what to eat that's not going to kill me, it's going to keep me alive. I said, we need that book. I told her to go buy some wound stock. You know what wound stock is? Or bleed stock? You know, it's a powder stuff. If you get a gunshot, you can dump that stuff on there, press your palm on that for about a minute and a half when it starts getting warm. That means it's setting up, take your hand off of it. And you can be shot. And all the troops know about this stuff. They carried it over in Afghanistan.
And they got a plant too, right?
A plant?
Yeah, it's a plant that stops the
They probably, yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure this is probably
grow
based on
right
it.
in your backyard, you just don't know.
But you have to go look at that. You don't have time when you're shot.
I know, but
You
I'm
better have
just
some,
saying.
you better have some bleed stock on you. You just take that stuff out, you rip open the package, dump it on the wound, press it on it, and it'll seal up that wound, and it'll allow you're not gonna bleed out before you get to the doctor, unless they get an artery. So those are just survival things, so, I'm trying to get my daughter up on survival, I said, because you never know. I always tell her, every time I have one of these conversations, I stop and say, but remember this may not happen. This may not happen. I said, but if it doesn't happen, it's because somebody up there did a favor for us. Bailing ourselves out because we did not know we deserve that. So that don't mean it's not going to happen. That doesn't mean we're not going to have that thing they call divine intervention. And I said, if this intervention comes, I told her, I said, it's going to be in April. It's going to be in April. Between now and April, it's going to be kind of rough. We're gonna, what I'm told, and maybe you can confirm this, I'm told that we're gonna see signs between now and then. That's gonna be like a tribulation day, but between now and then, we're gonna look up, and we're gonna see things in the sky that haven't been seen in hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, maybe a couple of thousand years exactly. Like maybe, like the minute after Jesus died. Kind of like that. If you go back and you read your Bible and you know what happened, what the signs in the sky were, about the winds and about what happened at the temple on that day. Yeah, we know all about that, don't we? Because we studied that. So we know what happened that day. The very second Jesus died, we know what happened. We'll look up in the sky between now and April. If you see something that reminds you of that, that's not just you thinking that's what that is, because that's what that is. That is what that is. Those are signs. And you need to look for them. That's right, signs in the sky. Look for the signs in the sky. If you see them, those are messages that says, I am here, and I'm with you, and I'm going to help you.
Yes.
Once you start seeing those signs, we don't breathe a sigh of relief yet, but there's an event that's gonna come somewhere later on.
Yes, Lord.
And that's when we all jump up and down and shout for joy, because it could be, we're gonna get bailed up and it's gonna be a joyous day. I started off telling you about, okay, so I was having this conversation with this lady, and finally I heard a voice in me, the voice said, okay, that's enough, you gotta move, you gotta go. So I turned to her and I said, look, I gotta run, I only got one more thing to say to you. She said, what's that? I said, listen to your dad. Your dad's trying to save your life, let him do what he does, and listen to him, and you're gonna be okay. I said, okay, you got that? She said, yes. So I went on. Come to aisle 3. Walking down the third aisle. That's A, B, C. That's aisle C. I'm sorry, it's not aisle 3. It's aisle C. And I'm just walking along. I'm looking left and right. Still looking for that antique furniture place. Where's George Brown? He's here somewhere. I'll see him sooner or later. I'll pass a table. I look over the table, and it's a table full of knives. Hunting knives, custom-made knives. And I just backed up, because there were 2 knives that I've never seen anything like them in my life, sitting up there on the table. I looked at those knives, and I said, I got knives. I probably got 50 knives. I don't need a knife. And I looked at that knife again. So the guy over there, he says, what do you need? I said, I don't know. I don't know what I need. You're going to tell me. He says, well, what are you going to use it for? I said, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. You sell knives or you sell advice? What is it you sell here? Because you don't need to know what I need it for. You just need to give me what I need. He said, well, what makes you think I got what you need? I said, I don't know. I said, you tell me. What's the best knife on your table? He said, what are you going to use it for? I said, none of your business. I said, let me tell you what I want. I want a knife that if I have to cut a copper penny in half, I can hit that knife on the back of the knife blade with a hammer, and I can cut that copper penny in half, and that blade's still sharp and shaved. You got a knife like that? He looked at me and goes, I don't know if there is a knife like that. No, I've seen knives like that. I want to know if you got a knife like that. He said, well, I can tell you this about that. So he walks over, and he points at the first 2 knives I'd seen. He said, see these knives? He said, you already asked about them. Yeah. He said, that's made of, and he tells me what grade of steel it is. He said, that's the hardest steel they make knives out of it. He said, that's the hardest. He said, it's hard to put an edge on these. He said, well, once you get that edge on, he said, that edge is there. He said, it doesn't know, you can cut paper, you can cut bones, you can cut all kinds of things with this steel. He said, that edge is there. He said, it'll eventually dull, because they all do. He said, it's hard to sharpen. He said, that's the best thing there is. I said, so you swear by this? He said, yeah, okay. So I held one up and I looked at it. And it had a curved handle. It had a blade that's about this long, not very long. I said, okay, I want this, but I don't want that. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, it's got a curved handle. I don't want a curved handle. I want a straight handle. I said, it's got custom-made handles on it. I don't want these. I said, I don't care what you put it in. I want it black. I want the blade black. I want the handle black. I want the handguard black. Can you do that? Can you oxidize that handguard, make it black? I said, oh, by the way, the scabbards are beautiful. Beautiful scabbards. They look like they cost more than the knives. He said, they do. The scabbards cost more than the knives. He said, they're custom made too. I said, well, I like the scabbards, but I gotta have a black one. Oh, none of yours are black. He said, well, I can get it black for you. I said, if you get it black, I said, good. Give me a black one. I said, that knife, I said, make it the way I said. I said, you know the guy who makes these knives? He said, I do. He said, I see him at knife shows. I said, well, when are you gonna see him next? He said, next week. I said, good. I said, do you understand what I'm looking for? I'm looking for this knife, straight handle, black, straight, what do we call it? What do you call it? The tang. Straight tang, not curved. Black handles, don't care if it's micarta, it can be bone, I don't care, as long as it's black. Black blade. The only thing I want shiny on this is the part you hone, the part you cut with. That's the only thing I want to be able to see. Scabbard, black. Everything black on black. I said, you got me? He said, I got you. Okay. I said, you just call me when it's ready. I'll be there. So I didn't need a knife. I didn't think. But I must have needed a knife because I sure bought one. You know, so I don't know what I need that knife for. But I need the knife I asked for. I'll figure it out later what I need it for. I need it for something, or I wouldn't have ordered it. So I was told, this is what you need. Right? So I walk on. I go to aisle 4. This is really weird. So I'm walking down aisle D. Thank you very much, Emily. You're paying attention. I'm not paying attention. You listen So I walk down IV. I'm still looking for the furniture guy. Where's George Brown? I ain't seeing George Brown. I'm walking along, I'm looking left, I'm looking right, I'm looking left, and then I backed up. I go, that's weird. This is a biker place. Black t-shirts with skulls and all that stuff, you know, that the guys who, it's mostly guys my age who are riding Harleys now. They all dressed, they have these German helmets on, they look like big gray beards, fat guys mostly. Fat guys on fat bicycles. You know, that's what they look like. So I stopped, I look, I go, this is interesting. So I walk in, there's a lady sitting by the register, she's reading a book. So I'm walking toward her, she looks up, she says, can I help you? I said, yes ma'am, you can. She said, what can I help you with? I said, rat bike. She said, rat bike? You want a rat bike? I said, I do, I want a rat bike. She said, what do you want with a rat bike? I said, don't ask me that, I want a rat bike. I said, you know somebody who builds rat bikes, don't you? She said, yes I do. My husband Dave builds rat bikes, that's what he does. He loves to build rat bikes. You want a rat bike? She says, look right over there. That's Dave over there with the ponytail. There's a guy who's about my size. Got gray hair, kind of look like me on top, only maybe he's got more on top, I don't know, but he had a long ponytail. So I kind of recognize what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an old Vietnam vet standing there. So I walk up to him. He's talking to other guys, so I just waited. He looks at me, he says, are you here to talk to me? I said, I am. He said, what do you want? I said, I want you to build me a rat bike. Can you build me a rat bike? He said, of course I can build you a rat bike. You really want one? I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, what kind of rat bike you want? I said, how many varieties are there? I mean, I'm talking about a rat bike for your edification. It is a motorcycle that's built out of junkyard parts. They call rat bikes. Don't know why. I learned that from a cousin of mine. Cousin named Leland Baratish. His family originally, his father came from Iowa Battery, but he was in Austin, Texas. And I got this notion 2 weeks before I ran into my friend Dave on ILD. Okay, I went looking for Leland. Because Leland sent me some pictures 10 years ago. 10 years ago, he sent me pictures of a couple of rat bikes that he built, because he built rat bikes for a living. He hung out with a bunch of bikers. His wife was an educated lady. She works for some state agency that deals, I don't really know what, it has something to do with education anyway. But Leland was a biker dude, and he built rat bikes. So I went looking for Leland. So I go online because I lost his phone number. I go online, and first thing I find is his obituary. My cousin Leland is dead. I didn't get to meet him. Talked to him on the phone. He told me about how he died 3 times. Yeah, he told me that. He told me the story of how he died 3 times. I told the bishop a little bit about that. And so I went looking for Leland because something told me I wanted a rat bike. I wanted a specific kind of rat bike. But Leland's gone, so I figured, okay, I'll get a hold of Leland's widow, because surely if he builds rat bikes, she knows the other rat bike builders around Austin. And I haven't gotten a good phone number for her yet. But then I run into Dave, who builds rat bikes. I said, well, this is not coincidence. I've been wanting a rat bike. I don't know why I want a rat bike, because I hadn't had a motorcycle since 1975. Last time I had a motorcycle. What the heck am I going to do with a motorcycle now at my age, not having ridden one for, 45 years? Other than kill myself, what am I going to do? I don't know. But I want this bike. I'm talking to Dave, he said, well, what do you want it to look like? I said, black on black. He said, black on black. I said, yep. I said, you know that 65-mile-per-hour sports engine that they sell? The one that's like a really good highway cruiser, economical? He goes, yeah, I want that engine. Okay, I can do that. I said, I want the forks raked just a little bit because Sportsters have, the wheelbase is too short. I want a special saddle, one that I can ride all day on without my butt getting sore. And he said, okay, is there anything else? I said, no, I'll think of something. So today I talked to Dave. This was 2 weeks ago. So today I talked to Dave. Dave, I owe you some money. How much money I owe you? He said, well, I'd already paid him some money to buy the bones, what he calls the bones of the bike. I said, we talked yesterday about, you didn't ask me for any money, but I owe you money, how much do I owe you? So we talked about that a little bit, and I told him I'd see him tomorrow at the flea market, I'd give him some money. Then he says, how do you want this bike painted? Flat black? Flat black. I said, I want it clear coated over flat black with a matte clear coat. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I said, yeah, matte clear coat, not shiny, matte. I said, but before you put that shiny, that matte clear coat on, I've got a couple of logos that I got to design and give you. I said, I want them painted on the tank, so you're going to need a good airbrush guy to put this logo on. So he started talking about that a little bit. I said, I'm not going to take it because I hadn't designed it. I said, it'll be a design. I said, there's 3 or 4 words. It's going to be very small written under that little design. It's going to be very, very discreet. I said, now the logo is going to be mostly silver, the words are going to be red. Are you following me? He said, yeah, but I don't know what you're doing. I said, you'll know when you see it. And he started talking about, once we get through this bike, he said, everywhere you go on this bike, people are going to stop and ask you questions. I said, Dave, you don't even know the half of it. You don't know the half of it. I said, once they see what's written on the tank, they're going to be asking me a lot of questions. Because on that tank, I'm going to have a sword. I'm going to have a sword. I haven't picked out the sword design yet. I've been looking at sword designs. I look at Christian swords. Christian sword. That's how I ran on the story of the sword of the Spirit. So I can read everything about it right there. All the Bible quotes and everything. And that's what's going to be written in red. Sword of the Spirit. On my motorcycle. And Dave and I talked about that. I didn't tell him what I was going to. I just told him about it. So I'll give him the details when he's ready to get that airbrush guy to airbrush that on there. So I'm going to have the sword picked out, and it's going to have sword of the Spirit. That's going to draw people to ask me what that's about. And that's when I get to preach, right? That's when I get to tell people what sword of the Spirit is.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And that's when I get to minister. Okay? So I'm going to end up being a bike minister. But I'm not going to be one of the scruffy fat dudes sitting on a fat bike looking like some ancient guy that's a pretender. I lost 20 pounds, I lost 20 pounds.
I told you, Niecy,
And like I told you, I'm a warrior for Christ. I'm a warrior for the Lord. And I want to tell people what that's about when I get out there. I'm not psychotic and I'm not paranoid.
Come on,
I'm not any of those things. I am whatever God made me, and I am whatever God will make me and turn me into, whatever He tells me to do. That's what I do. Right now He's telling me, go get the bike you want, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do with it. Because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I just know we'll ride it. I don't know where I'm going to go. Don't know who I'm going to see, who I'm going to meet, what I'm going to say. I don't know any of that. That just comes at the moment. Everything's at the moment. I'm at the age where my life is this moment. That's all I got. I can't guarantee the next moment. I may drop dead the next moment for all I know. All I got is right here and right now, and you lovely people.
Yes, Lord.
That is it.
My God.
And you know what? That's enough. That's enough to make me die a rich man.
My God.
Just knowing that I died standing in front of you,
Yes,
witnessing.
Come on, guys.
If there's anything more beautiful than that, somebody please explain it to me. There's nothing on earth better than if I died right at this moment on this floor. I would die, I would feel like I died the richest man on earth. Right here with y'all. Okay. I'm done.
Praise God.
Thank you.
That's a real song. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's all it means to be a song. Praise God. For God I live, for God I live. He told you about freedom. Yes, Lord. You're only free when you're free in yourself. Nothing that we pertain make us free. We were born